Ahead of this meeting, and again, excuse my delay, the wording specifically about my comment, and then the other comment about speaking about a confidential meeting. Was there any directive that this was confidential, that was a confidential investigation?
I haven't
Bob?
really looked at the minutes. I couldn't comment.
I haven't pulled those up. It says Brendan McGovern shared his thoughts about a confidential investigation.
All right. Yeah, I have a problem with the word confidential in there.
What would you like?
I'd like that stricken from the minutes, the
Okay.
word confidential.
Okay.
I think the board would probably have to approve that, right? Or the strikes of different
Yes,
minutes.
I think they would have to approve it.
Excuse
The
me,
word
there's two
confidential
words
appeared
confidential
twice.
in there. I think it also appeals to Donald Chu when he got up to speak afterwards. It also mentions him speaking about a confidential.
When Mr. Chu spoke, he spoke about information from an executive session. He used those words about stuff that was talked about in executive
Yeah,
session.
but just because something happens in an executive session, is it public information?
No,
No.
it is not. Anything in executive session is not for the public.
Okay.
I believe because it had been made public at that time, because people knew they were being investigated. It was no longer public. And when there is a vote taken in executive session, that vote has to be made public. And they still have not been made public.
So I also don't get information from an executive session.
Well,
It's not something
Are
I'm
we
privy
talking about
to.
approval of the minutes? And that's in agenda 6.1.
I believe what I'm hearing is we're questioning the word confidential when that information was public at that
Yeah, but
time.
we're supposed to be doing,
In
we're
a
supposed to be
minute.
approving the
This
minutes.
is just approving
But
the
the
agenda.
minutes say the
Yeah,
word confidential.
Are the minutes part of the agenda is the question. I
Yeah,
get what you're
is this
saying,
part of the,
Bob.
Yeah.
is this part of the agenda?
It's
It
approving the
is.
whole
We haven't
agenda.
approved
Right.
The minutes
agenda yet.
the minutes are approving the consent agenda.
There was
Different stuff.
issues in the past where when people waited until the consent agenda to address issues, they weren't able to, and
Ah,
told that they
so you might
needed to
wanna
do
pull
so at
that
the
part out.
beginning of the meeting. So
So you might
if
want
it's
to,
okay with everybody, I'd like to check with legal and check with our attorney Cameron on the confidential nature of that before approving these meetings.
so you want the approval of minutes pulled out of consent agenda, is what you're saying, so that they can be considered separately.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a motion to pull
I'll make
approval
that
of
motion
minutes
to approve- Just to pull out the minutes.
from the consent
From
agenda.
consent.
What
consent
exactly does that
agenda.
mean then?
So
That means
we
at
can
that
discuss
time,
it.
when we get to it, we'll discuss it.
Yep,
Right.
just have to remember.
Yeah.
And I'll second that.
All in
Okay,
favor?
hold on one sec. So
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. So now we are, that was on the motion to remove that. Now we already have a motion and a second to approve the rest of the,
Now we just have to vote on the rest of it.
the agenda. So, all in favor of approving the rest of the agenda minus the,
All right.
any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, thank you. In accordance with Public Officers Law, Section 96, Subdivision 1, I would like to call for an executive session to discuss the employment history of a particular person and legal matters. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Janet, second.
I'll second.
Brett? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, the time is 6:10, and we're heading into executive. The executive session adjourned at 6:58 PM. And I would like to call for a motion to reconvene in open session.
Motion.
Brett?
Second.
Joe? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. Please welcome Carly Mendelson to recognize our first Tiger Paw recipient. Carly will be followed by John Zarcone and then Kristen Schumacher.
Hi. So Mrs. Morse and I are going to be giving a Tiger Paw to Natalie Ross, who is the most wonderful, amazing child ever.
So Natalie is the epitome of what it means to be a true leader. She is kind to all. Natalie is always doing the right thing, even when no one is watching. She goes above and beyond to help her peers and teachers, and she is consistently having a smile on her face.
Natalie also works incredibly hard in all of her classes. She advocates for her needs and takes ownership of her learning. Natalie brightens everybody's day by just being herself and asking how everyone's doing every single morning. She is a star student, and all of her teachers and I are so honored to have her in our class for her 6th grade year. She is incredibly deserving of this Tiger Paw Award, and we wish we could keep her in 6th grade forever. And I know we can't hold her back, but if we could, we would love to.
Congratulations, Natalie.
Can we get some pictures?
Oh, sure.
Picture time. Good job.
Thank you very much and congratulations. John?
Hi, everybody. I'm John Zarcone, the junior high school principal, and I object to any talk of holding her back. She's coming. She's coming up next year. All right. So I have 2 Tiger Paw recipients. I'm calling this a night of unsung heroes. So I'm going to read both. Well, we'll do one at a time, but you'll hear about our 2 unsung heroes at the junior high. The first one is for Brandon Prosser. Brandon does more behind-the-scenes work than anyone could ever know. He is our go-to guy when we need a fair opinion, fresh outlook, neutral position, or information about special ed services. My work with the state exams would not be possible without the report that I get from Brandon each year. His role in our junior high at-risk team is crucial in the way of identifying students who need support, as well as how to best support them. He will always volunteer to help when we are in need in the building. Brandon Prosser is a true unsung hero of the junior high school. Brandon, come on up. Continuing with the theme of unsung heroes, Steve Bellamy is all about helping in any way at the junior high each week. At the junior high, each week he offers to cover anyone who's in need with the Positivity Project SEL lessons. If I'm ever pulled out of the building for a meeting or an event, Mr. Bellamy is the first call when we need somebody to cover the overflow room during our intervention time. He has been asked to teach different things from year to year in regards to shifts in the music department. He has done this with a positive outlook and a can-do attitude. A few times this year, Steve has set up a rock show in the cafeteria at the junior high during lunch period. This has been a highlight for many of our young musicians, as well as our students who enjoy live music. His DJ skills have enhanced junior high dances, and his relationship building skills have made a difference in the lives of many students. Steve Bellamy is a true team player and a real unsung hero at the junior high school. It is a pleasure to work beside him. Come on up, Steve Bellamy. Hey, go piece of from me.
Our final Tiger Paw for the evening, I'd like to award to Abby Hess. Abby has worked in collaboration with others in her department, others in the related service department, to build a more inclusive playground at Smith. And so she has coordinated with PTO, with local agencies to purchase some adaptive materials that are accessible to all of our students. So please join me in congratulating Abby Hess.
Show
So-
one slide.
I was going to say the rest of our Tiger Paw recipients will be included with our superintendent's report.
My report will be super short. You will remember back in February and March, we were talking about our work with NASA. This is the High School United with NASA to create hardware. This is a Hunch program, NASA Hunch program. We're one of very few schools that had an opportunity to attend and show off our designs with NASA engineers up at RIT. So we're here to give all of our Hunch participants a Tiger Paw, but in addition to the Tiger Paw, they have a special presentation from Mr. Hare, who is their advisor, and he's going to really tell you all about it.
Sure.
There you are. He'll tell you all about it.
Yeah, I'll get out. Don't worry. I got this. Got it. Give me 2 seconds here. Good evening, everybody. How are you all doing? So I believe it was October, actually, when we first came in here, right, to show off what NASA Hunch was initially about. So starting off in October, we came in, presented to all of you about what we were looking to do with the birth of the Hunch program. The idea being that we wanted to build stuff with input from NASA engineers and designers, and hopefully get our objects brought down to the Johnson Space Center and hopefully therefore to the ISS for testing. NASA Hunch is kind of more like, it's less of a competition and more like Shark Tank, honestly, is how we've seen it when we were there. Chris was with us. It was a fantastic time when we went to RIT. And it's not about winning and losing. When you go there, everyone could be a winner, everyone could be a loser, everyone has the opportunity to grow and improve their design. No one's design is perfect. We're a bunch of high schoolers and early college kids working on designs for NASA. Like that's an incredible opportunity in itself. The group of 10 students who are here with me tonight, 10 out of 11, it's not bad actually, just Crixton up there, sleeping or something, wherever he is. We could FaceTime him, but I don't think it's a good idea. But the 10 students here, hi Sky, they did an incredible job. The stuff that they did, the stuff they designed and how they presented it to all the engineers at RIT got them so much love and so much recognition that although they did not make it to the final showcase at the Johnson Space Center, those are the objects that are going to the ISS, our objects essentially, the way they put it is we essentially got 3rd or 4th place. It's a Shark Tank, you know? They loved what we had. The final step before you get to the showcase is they have the ability, each regional representative, in our case, Flo Gold, you know, little old lady Flo, we love that little old lady, she's wonderful. She sat there and started arguing with a bunch of engineers about why our stuff was better than everyone else's. And enough engineers agreed with us that we were able to get that close. In our first year ever. First year we've ever done a project like this. And we wowed NASA enough that they decided to give us, we'll give all the students letters of recommendation for all their hard work. And it is an incredible thing. Like, the stuff they did, I am incredibly proud and honored to have worked with this group. And I cannot imagine losing more than half of them next year, and Crixton. And also, you know, I mean, it's sad to see most of them go, but it's also really exciting to see what we're going to do next year. And I'm really hoping next year we can get ourselves down to the Johnson Space Center so Tommy can see some aliens. So, in addition to the Tiger Paws, I do have the letters of recommendation. Everyone will be getting a digital copy, fret not. So, you know, it's going to be really hard to attach this to your college applications. So please, when I call your name, come forth. Dominic Brown. Crixton's not here, that's fine. Thomas Barnes. Maybe next time do a design with your awesome pen work there. Sai Patel. Did the vast majority of our 3D designing on our project. It's insane. Eugene. Eugene and Dom offered incredible input on our actual prototype design at the very end. Truly, 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 and they were on the bus helping us glue parts together literally on our way up to RIT. We did not finish until after we were there. Alex Sheets. Sincerely. Paige Randall, the world's greatest. Saya Gingrich. Your research was next to none. Thank you. Andre. What even is this? Daniel DeGoff. 400,000 times before we completed Simple Stupid, and we finally did, and guess what? It did pretty well for us. Jacob Monez, last but certainly not. Yeah, you were everywhere at this one. Thank you very much. You all did an incredible job. Thank you. I really hope like heck we can go to Johnson Space Center next year. So congratulations. You all deserve this. And I'm really proud of all of you.
Mr. Hare, let's give it.
And let's give Mr. Hare a round of applause.
Good pictures, yeah.
How about we give Mr. Hare a round of applause?
Yeah, really good.
Really, you're not going to clap, Mr. Mack? Wow. He's clapping on the inside, man. That's what matters. Thank you very much.
Are those letters of recommendation from you?
No, these are from NASA.
That's
Nice.
amazing.
Congratulations, you guys.
Good stuff.
Yeah, no, these are from NASA, 100%. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Alicia, are there any requests to address the board?
Yes, I have one request from Donald Chu regarding things to do next year.
Okay, thank you to our community member who wishes to speak tonight. Please state your name and keep your remarks to 3 minutes, respectful and aligned with our district code of conduct. And to protect privacy, concerns involving specific students or employees should be directed privately to the superintendent or the Board of Education president. Please come on up, Donald.
Last week, district voters came out in force to approve the first school tax levy override since the tax cap went into effect in 2012. Although not enough to avoid most cuts, the increase shows the voters believe that the increase was needed and their trust that the additional funds would be well spent. To live up to their expectations, I hope the board will, at the next meeting, explain exactly what the cuts will do to instructional programs and staffing. And going forward, involve cuts, ESEA and CAA unions in mitigating the effects of those cuts. Plus, holding periodic meetings at the schools to hear from parents about their concerns, since generally they don't come to talk to the board in person here. Thank you.
Thank you. So now we're going to resolved, we're going to accept the consent agenda, and is that where the minutes are located now?
We'll hold out. So there's a consent agenda first, and then the minutes could be second.
Okay, so then we're going to add those, okay. So be it resolved upon the recommendation of Mr. Robert Edwards, Superintendent of Schools at the Cortland and Large City School District Board of Education accepts the consent agenda as presented, minus the minutes from our last meeting. We have a motion?
Motion.
Brett, do we have a second?
Second.
Joe? Any, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, now, we have I'm making a motion to remove the word confidential from the minutes at that point that I mentioned earlier. Alicia, do we have a motion?
2 places, I think.
In the 2 places, yes.
Okay.
Sorry, who,
Second?
who,
Are you saying
do we have,
motion?
yeah, I made the motion.
So I'll second it.
And thank you, Sherlyn. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, there are no items under old business. We'll move on to a resolution that the Board of... My apologies. Be it resolved upon the recommendation of Mr. Robert Edwards, Superintendent of the School District, that the Board of Education approves the personnel action as presented.
Motion.
Who made the motion there? Brett?
Second?
Sherlyn makes a second. Any discussion?
Yeah, as I was campaigning, I heard from numerous community members that we needed to look at administrative positions, and that the community that spoke to me, obviously not the entire community, they were not in favor of assistant principals. They said principals should be principals.
Give me 1 second here. So this personnel action, is this the personnel action which will officially mark the people who are being released from employment here?
No.
This is simply the things that we discussed in there today, those 3?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Excuse me? Okay, so that's Brett, Joe, Janet? Sherlyn's in favor?
I'm opposed.
Any opposed?
I'm opposed.
Janet, I didn't get if you were in favor or not.
I'm voting with them.
Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, that's 4. Janet's opposed, I'm gonna abstain. So,
It's in favor.
I know, it passes. There are no items under old business?
I will take just a moment, since Nolan is here, to say congratulations, Nolan. We are very happy to have you as part of the leadership team. And thank you for being here and your patience for us tonight. And look forward to you getting started. Appreciate that.
Okay, resolution that the Board of Education of the Cortland and Large City School District accepts the final vote results of the 2026-2027 budget purchase of student transportation vehicles, establishment of a 2026 capital reserve, establishment of a 2026 transportation capital reserve, and Cortland free library tax as stated below and presented on the tabulation sheet dated May 19th, 2026, to be attached to these minutes. Proposition 1, budget results, yes, 1,202, 1,202, no, 539, that's a 69.04%. A 60% majority was required. Proposition 2, purchase of student transportation vehicles. Yes, 1,184, no, 526. Proposition 3, establishment of the 2026 capital reserve. Yes, 1,262, no, 447. Proposition 4, establishment of a 2026 transportation capital reserve. Yes, 1,186, no, 520. Proposition 5, Cortland free library tax. Yes, 1,197, no, 517. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Brett makes a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Joe makes a second. Any discussion? I would want to thank the community for voting in favor of this and putting this financial responsibility upon us that we can continue to do the work of educating our students. So I'm very thankful to our community for putting their trust in us.
As are we.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Carries. School board member election final results. Resolution by the Board of Education of the Cortland Enlarged City School District of Cortland, New York, that Donald Chu and Lori McGivern are hereby declared elected to 3-year terms as members of the Board of Education of said school district, commencing July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2029, per tabulation sheet dated May 19th, 2026, to be attached to these minutes. We have a motion?
Motion.
Sherlin, do we have a second?
Second.
Brett? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. Be it resolved upon the recommendation of the Policy Committee that the Cortland Enlarged City School District Board of Education approves the second reading of revised policy number 3110 on media. Motion?
Motion.
Janet, second?
Second.
Sherlin. Any discussion?
And this basically says that announcements and newsletters are done by the principals of the buildings, but they are reviewed by the superintendent. They're forwarded to the superintendent. He is the official spokesperson, and that platforms and accounts are made public. And that last statement was the new addition to the policy.
Thank you for the summary, Lori. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? BOCES technology lease, be it resolved upon the recommendation of Mr. Robert Edwards, Superintendent of Schools, that the Cortland Enlarged City School District Board of Education approves the BOCES technology lease resolution as presented.
Motion.
Joe makes a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Brett seconds. Any discussion?
It's a 5-year contract, $400,000. SUNY Rick, and Rick in Old English meant king ruler or king of Wessex. But in this particular instance, it means the Regional Information Center. And it's for fees plus support services.
Thank you, Lori. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, first reading of revised policy number 6190, Title IX and sex discrimination. Be it resolved upon the recommendation of the Policy Committee that the Cortland Enlarged City School District Board of Education approves the first reading of revised policy number 6190, Title IX and sex discrimination as presented. Do we have a motion?
Motion?
Janet, second.
Second.
Sherilyn? Any discussion?
Sexual harassment is not sexual misconduct. And Joe Mack is the coordinator, and that's the only change in the policy. And there are 3 related policies, 2 policies and 1 code of conduct that give you additional information. That's about it.
The policy also meets the requirements of Erie 1 BOCES.
Thank you, Lori and Janet. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, this will be the first reading of revised policy 6190. Be it resolved upon the recommendation of the Policy Committee that the Cortland Enlarged City School District Board of Education approves the first reading of revised policy number 6190F, C, Cortland Enlarged City School District complaint form for reporting sexual harassment as presented. Motion?
Motion.
Sherlin, we have second.
Second.
Brett? Any discussion?
You want to take it, Janet? You want to do
No,
the
go ahead.
discussion? Well, it just designates that Joe Mack is going to be the one who has to deal with this, and it's all the questions that he needs to know the answers to.
What we did is we took people's names out of there, so if anybody changes, it just says the position rather than the people's names and where you can find the person's name.
Yeah, it's a position.
Yeah, where it used to have the person's name.
Yeah, you don't have to stay here for another 100 years. It's okay.
It's also available on the webpage, portlandschools.org.
So this is the form that somebody would use to report sexual, all right. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Great. Okay, be it resolved upon recommendation of Mr. Robert Edwards, Superintendent of Schools, that the Cortland Enlarged City School District Board of Education approves the attached resolution approving construction management services post-referendum stage as presented. Motion?
Motion?
Janet?
Second.
Joe makes a second. Any discussion?
This was a long document. It goes from the very first drawing to final construction. And it includes insurances and breakdowns of jobs and scope and daily logs and pictures that have to be taken. Includes the hourly rate of anywhere from $155 to $55. And the overall is $7.5 million.
Kristen, before we conclude too far, can you make sure the links are okay?
Yeah,
Sherilyn and I just tried to click on them.
Yeah,
and-
can't read these.
Oh, yeah, we'll make sure it's.
Okay, it just must be an
Yeah,
updated
and it's
PDF
for
or
the
something.
$7.7 million project. They're not going to be paid $7.7 million.
Right.
Just to clarify.
Just as
Well,
long
it's
as those
actually
links get updated.
7.618.785, but I rounded it off.
We're at Tuesday.
All in favor?
All right.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? This is a request for an extended overnight field trip to Watertown, New York. Be it resolved upon the recommendation of Mr. Robert Edwards, Superintendent of Schools, that the Cortland Enlarged City School District Board of Education approves the request for an extended overnight field trip to Watertown, New York for the tip-off basketball tournament as presented.
Motion.
Joe makes a motion.
Second.
Brett seconds. Any discussion?
They leave Friday at 1, come back Saturday at 5, 26 students, 5 staff, $50 per student, paid by the teams.
Thank you, Lori. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, this is a boiler service agreement between Siemens Industry and the Cortland Enlarged City School District. Be it resolved upon the recommendation of Mr. Robert Edwards, Superintendent of Schools, that the Cortland Enlarged City School District Board of Education approves the boiler service agreement between Siemens Industry Incorporated and Cortland Enlarged City School District as presented.
Motion.
Joe makes a motion.
Second.
Janet seconds. Any discussion?
It's the cleaning and inspection for 57,000, 3 elementaries and the high school.
Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Abstentions? Okay, so this is the same company. This is a HVAC service agreement between Siemens Industry and the school district. Be it resolved upon the recommendation of Mr. Robert Edwards, Superintendent of Schools, that the Cortland Enlarged City School District Board of Education approves the HVAC service agreement between Siemens Industry Incorporated and the Cortland Enlarged City School District as presented. We have a motion?
Motion.
Joe, second.
Second.
Sherilyn, any discussion?
And this includes also the Kaufman Center, and it's where the spaces where the air conditioning is. Not all buildings are fully air conditioned, and that's roughly 52,000.
Thank you, Lori. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. It's a construction contract for Phase 4 of the 2021 Capital Improvement Project. Be it resolved upon the recommendation of Mr. Robert Edwards, Superintendent of Schools, that the Cortland Enlarged City School District Board of Education awards the plumbing contract to Lovett Mechanical Contractors as the lowest qualified bidder, and the amount of $106,910 for the 2021 capital project Phase 4 Junior Senior High School SED 11-02-00-0-0-0-07-021, and Randall Middle School SED number 11-02-0-0-0-0-002-014. We have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Okay, Joe and Janet. Any discussion?
All the information's in there, except that they were the low bid of 2 bidders.
This is last time you approved all the other ones for this project. There was no bidders at that point in time, so now we were able to get some bidders.
Yeah, good.
Thanks for the information there. Chris, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, thank you. We're done with the policy part. Alicia, are there any requests to address the board?
No.
Do any members of the cabinet have information they would like to share tonight?
I was able to attend one of our unified basketball games. Unfortunately, I was only able to make it to one, but it was just a great celebration of our student athletes, which leads me into tomorrow. Tomorrow is our Olympiad that we have been planning for. I know our student athletes are excited. The parade starts at 10 if anyone can make it. And we're still working on holding our annual reviews, so things are moving right along in special ed.
Last year about this time was when that quality assurance team came in and went all the way through it. Where do we stand now with our being a focused school?
So the quality assurance, that piece has been resolved.
Yeah.
I don't have any updated information on any.
Okay, right, so, but we're still in focus status?
We still have a few buildings that are working on specific targeted areas.
Okay.
Based on them meeting those goals, we'll either continue that work next year or we'll be done with the others this year.
Okay, so maybe next month you could bring us up to speed as to where we are is trying to get out of that labeling.
Thank you, Kristen. Joe?
Yeah, so out of my office, just really working the last few months with staff on certification, making sure they have all their exams and all their coursework completed or in progress or scheduled for. Also working on the extracurricular survey that went out that will be on the June board agenda for those who want to sign up to be an advisor, an extracurricular advisor. And then also working on the liaisons for each, the departments or grade level leaders as well. So you'll get that information in June.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it.
A couple updates. I'll pass these around while I do my first update. So first, I just want to take a moment to thank the community and the board and the staff for their support in the budget cycle this year. I'm glad it was approved. Happy that it was happening. It's a celebration. However, I do want to acknowledge that it wasn't without some hard times, right? So we did have to lay off staff. We did have to fix the positions. We did have to eliminate some summer programs. So it is with some costs this year, and I hope in the future that we can bring those things back and really look at an annual process. So I just want to thank the community and I want to acknowledge also the hardship that might bring on some people from the community with 6.5%. Second thing is I want to update you all on the revenue side of the budget, especially because the budget in New York State wasn't passed until after the budget vote day. So you might be curious to see, how did that updated state aid revenue affect the budget for next year. So first off, the budget that was approved in the expense budget, there were no changes there. So what was approved was what not to exceed in terms of expenses. What can change from here to next year is how we allocate those revenues. So what I have, and I'll walk through these documents, which are in board docs right now, but apparently for some reason they're not uploaded for anything beyond that one point, so we'll fix on that later. But on the first page, what you see above in the first chart is prior to the budget vote day, what we had allocated for state aid. And after the budget, you'll see that the middle column now says just legislative budget, so now the New York State has approved the budget. That's what we currently have for those numbers. So they did approve a 2% increase in state aid. So what we have in that last column are all the changes. So as you can see, the total changes in increase in state aid is about $330,000. So the question may become, where do we recoup that, right? So we talked a lot this year about fund balance and reserves and how we want to make sure we limit what we use from fund balance and reserves. So I in the budget, took that away from the fund balance allocations for next year. So still about $650,000 of reserves being used, but now the fund balance is at $520,000 rather than $850,000. So you can look at this later, but the reason why I highlighted in yellow the building aid is because that's what's on the governor's runs right now. Building aid is one of those areas that's fluid based upon when projects are approved. So what we do is work off of the fiscal advisor's numbers, which are in red above, which we've been working on all along. So even though the governor's run says $4.6 million in building aid, we are not actually expecting that next year in building aid. We're still expecting about the $3.5 million. So in case you're wondering why we didn't budget up to that amount, is because the governor in her runs used estimates. She's kind of put fillers in for building aid, knowing that a lot of projects aren't going to be approved until mid-year, because we are guaranteed a certain percentage in aid once those get approved. So in case you're wondering why that's different, that's why. But we did have transition for charter school aid added to the run, so I did add that into the budget as well. You can look at this later. The next page just kind of breaks down the fund balance allocation. So one thing that we talked about throughout the year was the projected end of the year fund balance, where we're going to be at the 4%. So that first column is essentially where we've been up through the budget cycle. So where we anticipate those end of the year fund balance to be with the $850,000 allocated. Option one is really where we're kind of looking at right now in terms of the updated fund balance numbers at 520, which does put us slightly over the 4% number, which means we can easily allocate some reserves. That's still work that's going to happen over the summer months in terms of the audit report. So once the audit is concluded in August, we'll have a better sense of where those are. But as you can see, there's some possibilities for funding. So we'll talk more about that later. And then the last thing I want to update on for the budget pieces is at the June meeting, just to give you all a heads up, typically at a June meeting, the last board meeting of the year, there's a resolution to allocate excess fund balance into reserves up to a certain amount. So I provided what we did last year in terms of those up to amounts. Now you'll see the total $7.7 million. We're not going to have that much in excess fund balance next year, just to be clear. But what this does do is what the board approves at the June meeting, it allows flexibility for the district to determine if we do have excess fund balance, how we can allocate those to reserves, because we have to do this prior to the end of this fiscal year. Just to give you a sense of where we were with excess fund balance, I do have a 5-year history on how we allocated that in the past, so that's there for your reference. The TRS reserve, just a note about that one, it says $100,000, but really did transfer from another reserve $250,000, so we did increase that reserve by $350,000 last year. So those are just there for your reference. They're in board docs as well, so you can look at those once it's up and running. Any questions on that before my last couple?
I'm
So we did have an addition, right?
We got more state
got
aid.
more money than we were expecting.
Doesn't bring the expense budget up at all, though. That's capped at what, the $58 million number. So we can't, like, bring back positions, we can't bring back programs.
Can you explain that a little clearer? I'm not a financial person.
So the budget that was approved is a not-to-exceed expense budget. We had to make sure the revenues matched. So to match above what we're anticipating to get in revenues, we had to use fund balance and reserves.
Yeah.
Since we have more state aid, that really just means we have less reliance on fund balance and reserves.
Right, again, okay, so we can't go higher than what we approved, I just understood that, but
Correct.
we did have some money come in that might
Correct. Which
mitigate
helps.
for next year
Correct.
or down the
Helps us
road.
put it in a little better financial position going into future years, too.
Yes, thank you, appreciate that.
Last couple updates is the district-wide safety plan. So the safety team did meet recently to review the draft plan, which is going to be posted on the website soon for public comment. We will have a public comment period from June 1st to July 1st. So I encourage members from the community to go and review the plan and provide their comments. We will have a public hearing that's going to be scheduled for June 18th, which is right before our next board meeting at 5 p.m. So that will be published in the newspaper in terms of notices. And then in terms of, along with that, the last thing I have is, one thing we need to do is on the safety team have a board member. As you notice, we didn't have that up for approval tonight. We'll have the June meeting, but now that we know who the board members are going to be for next year, I wanted to see if there's anyone who's interested in serving on that committee for the safety team, just one board member.
Shouldn't we do that when
We have a reorg.
when the board is?
We had to do Donald here tonight, so if he has interest, I'll take his interest. But the only other person we're missing is Gavin.
Sorry, I couldn't hear what committee that was.
District-wide safety team.
You were on it before. Are you interested in doing it again?
I think you did way better than I did.
I don't know what you said.
I think you did way better than I did on it.
I would be interested in doing it. And one thing that I found out, I had asked repeatedly about that 55,000 because I thought the cap was 50,000, which it was at one point. When I asked at the audit meeting, they said they'd gotten a waiver. And when I called Albany this week, they've done away with it, and there is no cap anymore. So it could be even more than 55. So my question now is buried. It's done. Pick up fork.
So I have Laura's interested, so if anyone else is interested, you can email Alicia later. We can put together a random drawing if there's more people interested. But right now, it looks like Lori, he'll be on the committee next year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you,
Chris.
everybody.
A couple things from my seat. Number one, wanted to say congratulations publicly to Ben Albright. So Coach Albright got his 200th win last week. So it's a pretty significant accomplishment.
He had a lot of balloons.
For a baseball coach, yeah. He followed that promptly with win 201 the same night. So it was a doubleheader. They were in extra innings of the first game and then won the next game. So it was pretty awesome accomplishment and an awesome program. I'm appreciative that Kristen shouted out, and I say great opportunities for President McGovern, and I always ask, will you be there? I think that's going to be our new charge, but we have the Olympiad tomorrow. It's a great opportunity to see some kids. Good parade lab, awesome. Our modern band will be out there playing. Really cool opportunity. So that's one thing, I say that. Boys lacrosse sectionals are Wednesday night at 5:30 at New Hartford. We only have a couple teams still in sectional playoff. Baseball plays Thursday, 6 o'clock at Gutchess. They'll get their 200 and, I don't, maybe get 202nd win or 203rd. I'm not sure where he's at now. His wins pile up quick. We have our Imagination Celebration, which is at Dowd Theater. So I think the whole board saw an invitation today from Elizabeth Mashkowski. I really encourage you to go to the Dowd Theater at any time, but the celebration ceremonies are Thursday night at 5 for elementary and 6:30 for secondary. And then Wednesday, June 3rd, I think you got that invitation too from Melissa Norman today. So that's the internship hour, social hour. It's a wonderful opportunity from 5 to 6 on June 3rd. So this is a great time of year to really show ourselves as board members and be visible, and see our students and our staff. We just got word just before the board meeting, actually, that Tyler Cranfield just won his next round in competition in tennis, and is headed to states, further into states next Thursday. He'll be down there, somewhere downstate, I think that's on Long Island, but he'll be headed there for the state tennis tournament. Pretty impressive. Pretty impressive to get there in tennis, for sure. Though she's not here, I wanted to just acknowledge and say thank you to Julie in her work on our universal pre-kindergarten program. You know, as our community knows through some of our news channels, Julie and I have been trying to support SUNY Cortland in a child care situation that they've been experiencing. And Julie has really been integral in connecting with SUNY Cortland. She reached out to them just after the news started going around. And we've been really working to try to continue our partnership with SUNY Cortland and with that program, but also to be supportive in any ways that we can think creatively. The two board members that we met with, you know, they identify childcare. We all know childcare is a national crisis, and it's certainly impacting us here in Cortland as well. So I appreciate Julie for that. Huge shout out to Chris and Alicia for navigating an incredibly complex budget year and vote, particularly a highly successful budget vote at the senior high school. We had an art show up there, so a huge shout out to Jesse Bender and Catherine Hastner and Elizabeth Mushkowski for putting that together. Shout out to our music staff and Sharon Fedaplace for having some music playing during the things. And to think, some people wanted a half day of school for students, right? So that we were able to just overcome that and move forward. Certainly that would have sent the wrong message and been very counter to all of our mission and vision. But just a thank you to all of our staff who really made this happen, and certainly to all the voters who came out in numbers. It was a good night, good day and good night. Certainly busy. Huge shout out to Aiden. I think the tax estimator tool, it had no small role in helping many people understand you know, some of the factors involved in the vote. So I mean, we did get that word out. It was very easy to access, very easy to use. So appreciate you for doing that. One of the things that I'll send out too, I think opportunities to come visit our students and see some students during this time of year and celebration. So I'll shout out to the board. I know previously Gavin and I had an opportunity to eat some lunch with some students over at Parker. That might be a really good opportunity for some board members as well. I know some of our students would love eating with the president of a board of education, so maybe we'll have that opportunity. I did have, just to make it out and transparent, I do think some feedback from the community. There was some disappointment that there wasn't a communication from the board for all of the candidates who ran. So I'll wonder about that, and maybe on the back channel, Alicia, you, me, and Brendan can talk about that.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah, there was some concern that the board president didn't just shout out to all candidates who ran, thanking them for running.
Okay.
I think that's a good opportunity to do that, right? We always encourage civic participation. Thank you to Kristen and Joe for continuing to navigate personnel shifts. This has been an unprecedented spring for sure, and you know, a lot of shifting and moving. So I think that's I'm appreciative of your continued efforts in that. Just again, a gratefulness to the whole community for coming out. I was very anxious about making the next day's difficult decisions on the list that we had published and put out about student programs that would be impacted. It did receive quite a bit of feedback that people appreciated that list, despite how difficult it was to even look at and think about and contemplate. But that was helpful in the process. So I'm appreciative of everybody in our community who came out and really is supporting student programs.
Bob, with your calendar updates,
yes.
I got a thing saying June 9th about negotiations had been canceled. Does that mean we're going to have our committee meetings on June 9th?
No, we'll talk about it in exec, but negotiations aren't canceled, so we have them. The process has shifted a little bit, so there's not a second night dinner anymore, because I guess they've learned in that process that second day might go into the night, so it just shifted.
When do we get what the district
We'll share those in
proposed?
executive session. Chris is ready.
Okay.
That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob, and thank you for the invite, but I'll remind folks that I do have a day job and I won't be able to make it tomorrow, and I would encourage any retired board members that might be available to attend all of these terrific and wonderful events. Thank you.
What was the numbers, like, was it a much larger number of people that
Total-
voted this,
total
like,
vote.
compared to usual? I was just, I never looked
Yeah,
up.
total vote was around 1,700. What's a
Yeah,
typical?
around 1,700 to 1,800.
Typical, maybe 12.
Last year for the first vote, when the tax levy over is just over 1,000.
Yeah.
I thought
So
it was
we
quite a
got
bit
that
more,
number
I
last
couldn't
week.
remember what it was last year,
It
yeah.
felt it up there for sure.
The second vote was 800, right?
Second vote was 800, yes. The first one for the tax levy override last year was 1,000.
Okay,
So we
Yeah,
still,
it was good. It was-
still a solid turnout.
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Got listed here, Board of Education part here is to discuss our reorganizational meeting date. Bob has recommended July 7th as the recommended date. Any discussion, board?
7?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
the first Tuesday of July, yep, 7th.
Well, I
7th.
think we have an issue because we have an incoming board member who cannot make it on the 7th.
If at all possible, I'd appreciate the 14th.
That's kind of late anyway. We usually do it, I think, a little earlier than that.
Well,
Well,
it has to be
Wednesday.
after July 1st, doesn't
So
it?
it's a weird,
No.
it's a weird.
Last year, we did it on the first because the first was a Tuesday.
Well,
First
they're
was a
not
Tuesday.
members of the board until after July 1st, right?
Correct.
Until after they take their oath.
Correct. Right. Right.
It's not automatic, you gotta swear.
Right.
So is the 14th too late for people, or is that okay with people?
Do you have a
I'm just checking my availability.
date you can propose?
He said the
We
14th.
set the 14th. For some, please give a second here, I'm trying to, I'm having an issue connecting to my network here. I want to check my. Here we go. Calendar.
Is that okay with you, Roy? You're not looking up your schedule, so is the 14th good for you, or do you think?
Me?
Yeah.
I'll be here.
Brett, you're looking at your calendar?
I don't know if I'll be in New York at all the month of July.
Oh,
Not everybody's
Now
here
that
either.
I'm-
Gavin's also not here. I wonder if we should survey.
You want me to send out a,
Well,
I think
yeah, we
that's
can
better.
survey about the 14th. The 14th does work for me, and Donald is the only incoming member, right?
It does or does not work for you on the 14th?
It does work. The 13th or the 14th will
Well,
both work.
Why don't we go tentative on the 14th?
why don't we do the 14th, and then we'll see if for some reason that's bad for Gavin,
Yeah.
possibly the 13th.
Possibly the 13th. I'm leaving right, I'll be leaving right after this meeting to an AFT convention in Washington DC for a week following our meeting. I'd rather leave earlier in the day, but I certainly will stay
Oh, in July, you mean?
in July.
What time are we talking about? Like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock?
But yeah, or the 13th.
Is the 13th better for you?
Oh, would certainly be better.
Well,
for
then
me.
Why don't we do the
go with the
13th, and then
13th?
if he can't make it, then we'll put 14th. Donald, is 13th
You do
okay for you?
13th.
Yeah. I think I'll be out of town through the 8th, so even.
13th work for you,
the end
Bob?
of The previous week might be okay.
13th.
It's going to be tricky for me, but we'll see.
13th.
14th would be better for me, but, well, I mean, the 7th would be better for me. But I wonder earlier, how is the 2nd? Do we want to go early?
We won't be here
No.
the 2nd.
Oh, no.
It's not for me.
Okay.
You said you'll be back on the 8th. What about the
Well,
9th?
I'll be back probably the 9th or the 10th.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
when are
9th
you
for me.
leaving?
Something like the 2nd, I think.
But you said the 9th didn't work for you, so.
I can't make the 9th, no.
It sounds like the 13th is the better one to go with.
So why don't we go that, and then you can survey if we need to switch it, then we'll switch it to
so we want to go to a
14th.
Monday rather than a Tuesday.
Well, it sounds like that works.
Well, I prefer, since we're moving it from the 7th, which I had open.
Okay. So I get rid of that. Monday the 13th. We've had them on a Monday before.
Yeah, we have it in April. We have one on a Monday to coincide with Christmas.
One in
I mean, we're
March.
not changing the a board meeting, right? This is a night that we would normally have.
It's a
We're
regular.
Yeah, we're creating this. That
Yeah.
would be committee meetings. Okay, thank you, Alicia.
All right, so we're going for the 13th. I just want to,
Yeah, unless that doesn't work out there.
So do any board members have any information to share tonight? Well, on the motion of myself, seconded by Joe, the Board of Education resolves that the investigation discussed on April 20th in open session has concluded, and there was no finding of official misconduct by the board member, Laurie McGivern.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
so is that a resolution that we did in executive?
In executive session.
I'm sorry, guys, so just one more time, the motion and the second, because I'll add that too.
You want me to do a motion?
No,
He did it. He did it, and Joe
He-
seconded.
That's all I was.
Brendan?
Oh, I'm
I
sorry,
didn't
yeah,
catch-
that's
I'm
what
sorry.
I meant.
Thank
The motion was by me,
Yep,
and it was
Joe
seconded by Joe.
Okay, thank you for that.
Okay. Thank you. All right, do any other members have anything to share? Then Aiden and Cy, do you have any information that you'd like to share tonight?
I kick it off with the discussions about the Science Honor Society and what we learned from that a little bit.
So from the meeting that I went to about 2 weeks ago on Thursday, previously they had met with, off the top of my head, I can't remember who they met with. And they were being told to hold off until the upcoming school year, so 26, 27. Another thing I learned is they went down to Dryden to look at their lunch program. They do the scratch cooking lunch program, so they have essentially like actually made. They have a salad bar. They have a area where you can get milk and water. Yeah, they very much took a look at that, and they really think that it would be vital for students to have that. A lot of students at Dryden liked it. They also get a fair amount of funding for it as well. That's pretty much all I got about that.
So usually in my board reports, I bring, celebrations and good news. Unfortunately, I have no such news this time around. I wrote a statement that I'd like to read the board, and it reads, "Members of the Board of Education, Administration, and Community. In the time between this meeting and the last meeting, I have had time to speak with students, staff, and board members alike regarding the events of the previous meeting. Some believe that it was tough but necessary. Others believe that it was a disaster. However, what I saw was a house divided. To quote one of our greatest presidents, Abraham Lincoln, a house divided against itself cannot stand. Every single person in this room is here because they want what's best for our students. It is our students who truly matter, not our politics, not our bottom line, and not grand gestures. The future generation of young minds, our future engineers, our future artists, and our future workers. It is due to this realization I am disappointed. I am disappointed in the actions of this board. I am disappointed in the tense environment we have created in this very room. But most of all, I am disappointed in myself for not having spoken up sooner. I am of the opinion that regardless of our original intent, we have strayed from the path of doing what is best for our students. Let me be clear. I make the statement not with malice or accusations, but with the hope that the board and the organizations that we work with consider a perspective that has long been lost. I understand the importance of closing the gap between the board and our unions, and the need to increase collaboration between us. However, it must be done through proper channels. Anything outside of these channels, no matter how well intended, only serves to create an even greater divide among some of our most important decision makers in this district. And these divides ultimately hurt our student body. When I began this position in July, I was told that if I ever thought the board was moving on the wrong track, to speak up. I am now exercising that exact responsibility of my position. Another thing that was suggested was to read Robert's Rules of Order, which was such a wonderful little book, from which I bring to you what I believe to be the most important quote of the entire book, and it reads as so. Everyone involved within an organization must also work to create an atmosphere of trust, mutual respect, and shared purpose. I ask that everyone listening to this statement take that advice into consideration for the future of the district. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. That was really well done.
Thank you, Ed.
I have one question for you.
I have an answer.
How's the situation in the bathrooms? You mentioned that 2 months ago.
I think Cy was more on that one than I was. I can't remember exactly what the issue was.
A lot of it was mainly stemming around the fact that there is no, there's no regulation of what happens, I guess. A lot of my friends have been coming to me about, one, some of the bathrooms being closed. Two, there's a lot of kids in the bathrooms. This is the big one. There's a lot of kids in the bathrooms doing what they're not supposed to do, like vaping, essentially just not doing what they need to do and getting out. They're all congregating in there, doing bad things, and ruining it for other people, I guess, is the way I would say it. A lot of people I know aren't happy about this, and they're requesting that some change happens in that.
So it's virtually unchanged from 2 months ago when you brought it to our attention?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Thank you for sharing that. Okay, in accordance with Public Officers Law, Section 96, Subdivision 1, I'd like to call for an executive session to discuss the employment history of a particular person and legal matters.
Motion.
Joe, Sherilyn. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? The time is 8:04.